All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. This lesson is going to be talking about something that Anthony Joshua said in his fight that he had yesterday after he lost, right? And something that he said in the to the fighter that beat him, that he said after the ring, man. He said to him, like they must have been congratulating each other for how well they fought or something like that. And the other guy must have said to him, "You're strong," right? And Anthony Joshua said, "I don't care about strength," or something along these lines. He said, "I don't care about strength. It's not about strength. Oh, I don't care about strength. I'd rather have skills. It's not about strength. It's about skills," right? And then he went on to say, "How did you beat me in this fight? Because you're not strong." And I think the guy at first thought that he was saying it as an insult, but Anthony Joshua was actually complimenting him and letting him know that you beat me because of your skill, man. All right, you won because of your skill. Like, even though you're physically inferior to me, you were able to beat me because you've got more skills than me. And he said, he was pretty much saying, I wish that I didn't have all this strength and I'd rather have had the skills, right? I'd rather have had the skills to win. And he said, "How did you beat me? You beat me by your skills." And then he went on to have a rant and stuff like that. And people are saying he's lost his mind and all of this stuff. But regarding that particular part of the conversation, what he said was a spiritual statement, man, because this thing in Yahweh's journey of men trying to receive salvation is not about strength and it's not about skills, man, right? It's about something way more precious than what people can actually be able to quantify, man. You can't quantify faith, because if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you'll be able to move mountains. But if you have this great faith the size of an apricot kernel, then what are you going to be able to do then? A lot more, right? But you only need faith the size of a mustard seed, man. A little faith is good enough in order to receive salvation, because faith is a gift that can only be given. This is Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23. Thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might, let not the rich man glory in his riches. And that guy, Alexander Oost, was trying to make Anthony Joshua glory in his might, but he rebuked his might. Anthony Joshua rebuked his might and was saying that he wished he had the skills, man. But applying that towards the truth, right? A lot of these people in the world, they're gonna be regretting all the riches that they had, regretting all the might that they had, all the notoriety of this world, and they're gonna be wishing that they had the things that the elect have in the time to come, and they're gonna be wishing that they had that faith, whether it was the size of a mustard seed or the size of a horse, man. They're gonna be wishing that they had faith in that time, man. Right? They're gonna wish that they was given the gift of faith, because they're gonna see that they end up losing the battle that Yahweh set for man on earth. And Anthony Joshua was like, he realized that boxing is about way more than what he thought it was, man, because he thought he would rematch and be able to beat him this time round because he's stronger than him, he's been training hard or whatever, right? But he realized that his might wasn't over enough to overcome this man that he had in front of him. And it's about more than just being tough in the body, man. It's about being strong in the mind and having the actual skills necessary, right? Whereas with the truth, it's about faith. But then it's not just about having faith, because your faith is going to cause you to do works, right? Your faith is going to cause you to do works, man. You can't say you have faith and don't do anything. That's what Christians do. They say they believe in the Lord. They say they love the Lord. But then when they get told about Yahweh's laws, they say, oh, that was only for the Jews. That was only for the Israelites, right? But then at the same time, they got the nerve to say that they're a spiritual Israelite. So why is a spiritual Israelite that they claim that they are not keeping the law that is spiritual? Why would they not be doing that? I guess they're trying to say that we're the carnal Israel, right? Because they're the spiritual one. So they're trying to say that they're the spiritual one. So why aren't they keeping the laws then, if they're spiritual? And the scriptures say that the law's spiritual, but we're carnal. But if they're spiritual Israelites, shouldn't they be keeping the law that's also spiritual? Their doctrine don't make any sense. Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23 again. Thus saith Yahweh, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might, let not the rich man glory in his riches. And the elect are not going to glorify in these things, man. Even if they have any of these things, they're not going to glory in it, man. They're going to turn that down, because they know that it's not about that. Verse 24, But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and know of me, that I am Yahweh, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith Yahweh. Right? And that thing that Anthony Joshua said at the end of that fight, that it's not about strength, it's about skills. Applying it to this truth, man, he's right if you take that statement. Because it's not about how tough you are, how mighty you are in your flesh. Because the people that are actually going to receive salvation for the most part are not even gloried in this world, man. There's something greater than that. But just the same way you had all these people laughing at Anthony Joshua because he lost, right, and mocking him, right, and saying he's lost his mind and all that. All these people on the earth are going to lose their mind when they see that Yahweh's chosen men that this world hateth. But Yahweh's chosen men that like might have looked like bums, man. They might have been living, damn man. They might have been living worse than paycheck to paycheck, man. They might have been running out of their wages 2 weeks after they received the wage, man. They might have been really struggling down here. They might have looked like been living the most humble lives in terms of finance that you could ever see in your life, man. But they was the ones that were chosen, though. 1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 25. Because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. So people don't understand the Lord really, because they expect that Yahweh should just show all of his strength in one go. But if he was to do that, the world wouldn't stand, man. If Yahweh was to show his true strength to this world, these people wouldn't be able to handle it, man. And the Israelites got a little taste of seeing the presence of Yahweh when Moses was on the earth. And they said, nah, we don't want it, man. We'd rather deal with you, because it started getting dark in the sky. Thunder and lightning. People started to really getting a little taste in it. They was feeling afflicted in their spirit, man. The Israelites was feeling afflicted. And they had to rebuke their decision that they made and ask for Moses again. Verse 26. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. So it's not about strength of body in this thing. It's not about how rich you are. It's not about how you is known in the world. You know what I mean? You're popular. It's not about that, man. None of that stuff means nothing, man. And that's why you can see that there's not many people that are like that have been called into believing what we believe. And the ones that try and do it, like you had Kodak Black, you had Kendrick Lamar. They made statements, but they've never gone back into the world, the hardcore, doing whatever they're doing, man. One's been shot. The other one, and then's like been boasting about getting shot. The other one has been flipping, dressing up like he's the Messiah, showing himself being crucified, mocking Yahweh Shai, man. So it's not about how great you are in this world and how known you are. Verse 27. But God have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. Now, isn't a foolish thing a man that might like be just living a minimum wage, working a minimum wage job? Isn't that a foolish thing of the world? Isn't a foolish thing of the world a guy that's just goes to work, goes home, might go to the gym? Isn't that a foolish thing of the world? He ain't got no flashy life. He ain't got no exquisite car. And if he does have an exquisite car, he's paying it monthly. You know what I mean? He ain't just buying it straight out cash. He ain't got it like that. Verse 27, but God have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And Anthony Joshua was confounded when he saw that Alexander Usyk, who's not stronger than him by any means, was able to beat him in a fight, man, because he had something that Anthony Joshua didn't have. And Anthony Joshua acknowledged that, man. He said, it's not about strength. It's about skill. I don't need the strength. I needed skills. You see? He said that. He said that, man, in the post-fight interview, and you can look it up for yourself. I'm not gonna show it for this video, man. I want to stick to the words of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Verse 27, but God have chosen the weak things of the world, but God have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And God have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And the base things of the world, which the doctrine of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is going to confound even the best fighter in the world, right? If the best fighter in the world stand in front of the words of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, he'll be cut to the soul, man, right? If a champion fighter stand in front of it, he'll start running down the street, man, because he won't want to hear this. He might run away from the light, lest his deeds be found to be evil, like it says in John chapter 3. Verse 28, and the basins of the world and the things which are despised have God chosen, yeah, and things that are not, to bring to naught things that are. So Yahweh set the Israelites of the elect up, and they're considered lowly among even our nation, man. They ain't gonna be the stars of our nation. They ain't gonna be the 6'5" juggernauts. They ain't gonna be the 7-foot juggernauts that can dunk from the free throw line. You know, they ain't gonna be those guys. Now, some people like that might be within Yahweh's church, right? But for the most part, it's not gonna be like that, man. There might be some people that have got money, they might have a business or whatever, but it's not gonna be the majority of people. The majority of people that are gonna get looked at are gonna be looked at like they're a piece of dirt underneath people's shoe, man. And the world's gonna treat them as such. They ain't gonna respect them. They ain't gonna think that they've got anything noteworthy to say. Verse 29, that no flesh should glory in his presence, because Yahweh don't want anyone to be proud. When people get salvation, he don't want anyone to be proud. He don't want it to be anything that they've said that they did by where they can flex. He don't want them to be able to have any flex, man. Right? He don't want any Israelite to have anything that they can say to where they think that they deserve the salvation. He wants them all to understand that the salvation that's going to be given to them is going to be based solely on mercy, not based on, oh, I was the best prophet of the year 2 years running. He don't want it to be nothing like that. He don't want it to be like, oh, my garment had a 5 meters long border of blue on there. You know, he don't want it to be nothing like that. Oh, I had gold in my garment borders. You know, he don't want it to be nothing that he can flex. Oh, I never got a shape up once my whole life, so I'm worthy now. Oh, I never ate pork from my birth up, so I'm worthy. You know, he don't want any Israelite to have any flex that they can try and say, anything that they can try and boast in, man. Romans chapter 11 and verse 32, for God hath concluded them all in unbelief, that he might have mercy upon all. Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh. How unsearchable are his judgments, and his ways past finding out. The people, Yahweh don't want nobody to be trying to flex and think that they was just so smooth with it, that they got salvation, and he's not going to be accepting of that. He's not going to be accepting of anyone thinking that they was just the guy and that they just had it together. And that's why in their personal lives, he's going to make them stumble and fall so that they can realize that they're receiving mercy when they get on that chariot, man. They ain't going to be on the chariot like, I told y'all I was the main man. Like, they ain't going to be saying that. They ain't going to be saying that. And the people that get on these chariots are not going to be the ones that was expected to get on there neither. And let me go to this. Because what he said in that interview, that post-fight thing, that was kind of heavy, man. When he said it's not about strength. And I had to really sit and think about it, and then I applied it to the scriptures afterwards, and I was like, exactly. Because we ain't got the strength of Anthony Joshua, but we've got faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, though. And Alexander Usyk didn't have the strength of Anthony Joshua, but he was able to beat him in the ring, though. In that particular sport, you know. Now, whether he could do that outside of the ring is a whole other story, but he was able to beat him in there, though, and that's all that mattered for that case. Just like how we might not be able to beat neither of those people in a fight, right? But we got faith in the Lord, though. We understand Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labours. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation so far beyond all that they look for, because the world ain't looking for what we're expecting to see, man. Right? You had this recent movie that came out, Nope, right? Which I was actually looking forward to watching it, but then I watched a Apostle Ricard video, right? And then I saw that he mentioned something about the movie, and then afterwards I was like, well, you see, like they can't really show the truth anyway. You see, they can't really show what it's really about, obviously. But they could have showed a better explanation of what they showed, though, you know. But the world ain't expecting to see that. The world ain't expecting to see anything related to UFOs being anything related to us on Earth. They ain't expecting that the UFOs are coming to save a particular people on the Earth. they always view it as the UFOs are coming for battle against the whole of the world, right? Not that they've got a choice people in the world that they're coming to actually protect and save. The world's not expecting that, man. The world don't expect that UFOs have got anything to do with God. They'll think it's aliens with green men before they think that, or they'll think that it's futuristic humans that traveled back in time or some madness, or traveled into the future, and they've made a civilization outside from us, and then they're coming back to tell us that we're going to destroy the earth if we keep living like how we live. They'll come up with any philosophy or belief before they believe it's got anything to do with the Most High, with the Most High Yahweh. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 3. And they, repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach, because we didn't have the strength. And let's say we did have a bit of strength, man. Let's say we knew how to do a bit of a combat sport or whatever. Well, even if you use your combat sport skills in this world anyway, guess what? That little dweeb that you hit with a combination, he's going to call the cops, and then the cops are going to come with some tasers and some batons, and they're going to tase you down, smack you upside the head, and lock you away, and book your ass, take your fingerprints, put you in that light, put you on that wall, take your picture, right, and book you into the system. So we ain't got it like that, man. We're the sheep in the midst of wolves, man. We ain't the top guys down here right now. We're gods, but we die like men, as the scriptures say. Verse 5, in fact, verse 4. We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor, because we didn't have we didn't have that high value man starter pack, man. You know what I mean? We didn't have the high value man starter pack. We wasn't the right height. We didn't have the right weight and body fat percentage. We didn't have the right BMI. You know what I mean? We didn't have that right hairstyle. You know, we didn't have that connect. We didn't have the networking. You got a network and all that. We didn't have that high value man starter pack. We didn't have the 6-figure job, earning it for 3 years, and all of that. We didn't have all of that, man. We didn't have the cold approach tactics, you know. We didn't have the day game and all this BS that they be saying. We didn't have the you need the 5 types of shoes that every single man must own and all that. We didn't care about that, man. We didn't have a lifestyle that's glory and like have a technique for our social media game. We didn't have all of that high value man starter pack stuff, that high value man starter kit. We didn't have that. We had faith in Yahweh though, if we are of the elect, which people can have faith now, but then it can be taken away from you. Which, well, you know what, Salakia, let me not even say that, man, because faith, if you got it really, for real, it can't be taken from you, man. Right? Second Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 8 to verse 9. For by grace ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and verse 5. How is he numbered among the children of God? And he's like among the saints? Because when people see who gets salvation, man, a lot of these fine women out here, they're going to be seeing women that was uglier than them getting salvation, and they're going to be like, her. How was she one of the chosen? I'm way finer than her. I got way more of a fine ass than her. They're going to be thinking all that kind of BS, man. They're going to be thinking stupid like that. And men are going to be thinking about the men that receive salvation. How is he one of the chosen? I'm way stronger than him. I can deadlift way more than him, you know? But a lot of these people that can lift all that weights anyway, they're taking steroids. So let's not make any foolishness about that. A lot of these people are taking steroids, man. And some of them confess and say that they're taking steroids, but a lot of them are lying about their drug abuse and their performance-enhancing drugs that they take. They're lying, man. They're lying, and they're telling you, oh, mate, you just gotta eat 5 a day veg, right? You just gotta take your protein, make your protein match 1 pound per kilogram or whatever. I forget what it is now. 1 pound of protein, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight and all that. They be saying, right, you gotta do all of that. You gotta get your macros right. You gotta get sleep and walk 10,000 steps a day. They'll say all of that, but they forget to mention that they're taking steroids when they tell you these things. A lot of these people that people watch, man, they forget that main ingredient, to where when they don't sleep, it don't really matter because they've juiced up. but some confess. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 and verse 6. Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. They're going to realize they didn't have the truth of life, man. And that's going to be a sore pill to swallow, man. Because all for the might that they had and all for the riches, there's going to be literally like people with millions in their bank account, man, that had millions in their bank account, that a couple of years before they was the top guy, but now they're going to realize that they was below you, that's never even earned probably $250,000 from all your years of work that you've been doing it from your life up, and you might be like 4 decades old, man. You might be like touching 40, touching 50, and you're going to receive salvation, but they ain't, when they might have been a millionaire from the age of 20 years old. Just had everything that they ever wanted in their life and more. Had access to all the beautiful women that you want to have access to, but can't, because then women desire certain things. But then in the kingdom, guess what? You're going to have access to all of that and more. And you're going to have reverence in the kingdom, and they're not going to have the same reverence as you if they're an Israelite. They're going to be lower in the kingdom, man. Verse 7. We weird ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yea, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way. But as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it. For what have pride profited us? Or what good have riches with our vaunting brought us? What good was that high value man starter pack? What good was my cold approach then? You know? What good was my red pill knowledge? My so-called red pill knowledge? You know? What good was it that I knew like the psychology of a woman to get her into bed for a one night stand? What good was that when there's nukes flying, right? And there's chariots beaming everybody else up, but I'm down here still on the earth, not getting beamed up. What good was it then that I'm going to still have to be down here on this earth while everybody else is up in chariots? What good was their riches? They're going to be saying that. What good was it? What good was my riches in that time? Did being rich matter then? No, it didn't, man. Being rich ain't going to matter then. Verse 9. All those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasted by. Now let me jump down to verse 13 because I like to read this one, man. Even so, we in like manner, as soon as we were born, began to draw to our end, and had no sign of virtue to show, but were consumed in our own wickedness. So they're going to accept and acknowledge that they was being wicked their whole time that they was down here, man. Because if they wasn't being wicked and if they was doing the right thing, they would know that they would be receiving that same salvation as well. And the main thing that's going to let these people know that they was being wicked is going to be that they accepted that charagma, man, right? That in that moment where they had the chance to be like, I've heard this is something mentioned in the Bible, some of them are going to say, nah, I don't believe that, right? It's philosophies that's the charagma. It's the white woman that's the charagma. People are going, it's embargoes. They're going to have let that foolishness trick them, and they're going to know that they was being wicked, man. But I thought I'd do a lesson on that anyway, man, because I thought what he said there, like it made me think of these particular scriptures, man. That it's not, when he said it's not about strength, it's about skill. I don't care about strength. I care about skills. And a lot of these people in this world, man, they're gonna realize that they don't care about all the things that they had. A lot of these Israelites, man, they're gonna realize they didn't care about all the things that they had in that time. They're gonna wish that they had faith, man. Because Israelites of the elective did wickedness, just like how Israelites of the non-elective did wickedness, right? But the difference is that Yahweh justified one and not justified the other. And the reason why he justified one and not the other is because one had faith, the elect had faith in him and his son. But the non-elect didn't have faith in him and his son, so they ain't gonna they're gonna have to know it after death by pain, man. This is Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 8. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast, right? Because Yahweh don't want anybody to be able to boast about their salvation that they're gonna receive, man. You don't want that, right? And I'm gonna end the lesson there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, and shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.